I'm getting this question a lot. So I just thought it'd be a good idea to come on here and actually give my opinion on these things. So this is going to be pretty good. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Brandon, and we are back at it again. Today I got some tips for you guys. So I get a lot of messages on my social media about just different things in the photography community. Most of these questions come from a lot of up and coming photographers or aspiring photographers. So today I'm going to give you my top 5 tips every aspiring photographer should know. Okay, we're gonna get right into it. Let's go. All right, so when I was going through putting this little list together, I really didn't look at an order of things because I really didn't kind of care about that. So don't kind of hold this order against me, I'm telling you right now, but I think that these are just some of the top 5 things that I, as a photographer, probably should have followed years and years and years ago before I started doing photography. All right, so hopefully my list will help you, okay? So the first thing is, number 1, know what type of photographer you want to be when you start shooting. Okay, find out what that passion is. Find out what you enjoy, whether it be shooting portraits, whether it be landscape, whether it be weddings, whether it be, whatever the case may be. Find that niche, find out what your passion, find out what drives you, what motivates you, and start on that path to mastering and being the best you can in that specific niche. Okay, because that's what's going to get you discovered. That's what's going to get you the clientele in whatever aspect or whatever area that you are looking at. For example, when I first started off, I knew I wanted to do portraits. All right, I knew I wanted to work with models. I just wanted to just capture some amazing vivid images. So I started on that path to learning portrait photography. However, I was all over the place with it. Okay, so that's why I'm doing these tips for you today, because in the next one that I'm going to give you, it goes hand in hand with what I'm referring to on why it's important for you to figure out what you want to shoot and start in that, because there's a lot that comes with that, whether you're going to be working with models or working with cars or landscape or weddings or anything like that. Everything has its own specific niche, and therefore you have to have the equipment for that. You have to have the understanding for that. There's a lot that goes into that. So my first tip to you, if you are an aspiring photographer, figure out what you want to do first. What type of photographer do you want to be? What do you want to shoot? Okay, so the next tip I have for you aspiring photographers out there is, this is really, really important. I think this is something that haunts a lot of photographers actually today, right now. You need to tap into your creativity, okay? You need to tap into that eye. It's really hard to be a photographer if you don't have a basis of creativity, or if you don't have like the eye. I know the eye is something that you develop over time depending on what you shoot, but you got to be one of those people who know how to think outside the box, who can multitask, who can go, who's a people person, because you got to work with people, models and groups of people, and you got to have that personality, you got to have that, you just got to have that ick factor, but you got to be able to be creative. You got to be able to type into that energy, to that creativity. And if you can't, it's hard. Now, for the majority of this, I'm going to use portraits because that's what I mainly shoot, is portraits. But can I shoot these other areas? Can I shoot weddings? Absolutely. Landscape, yes. Maternity, sports, I can do them all. But when I first started, I was not doing all of that. I was just mainly focused on portraits. So a big thing with this, you got to tap into that creativity. For example, if you are looking to be a portrait photographer, you need to look at other people, look at what they're doing, look at how they are capturing those images, and see if it's similar to the desired look that you're trying to get. You need to study it. I think that we don't do enough studying. We want to go out here and take the shot and things like that, but we're not studying about photography. We're not studying lighting. We're not studying the inverse square law. We're not studying fallout. We're not students of the game. We just feel like we need to pick up a camera and go out here and shoot. It doesn't work like that, all right? You have to be a student of the game. So if you're aspiring photographer, look at other people. If you're a portrait, if you want to be portraits, look at other portrait photographers. Look at their composition. Look how they, work with their models. Look how if they have a YouTube channel and they can show you how to work with models. Just saying. Look at what they're doing and then try to kind of take, a little bit from that and then make it your own. It's the same in anything as that we do as people that we are not as skilled and vast in. Look at basketball players. A lot of people study the game of other people. You're not taking everything that they're doing, but you're getting a little piece of how they're doing things and what they're seeing, and you're incorporating it into your own game, into your own workflow. That's what you want to do with photography. Okay, tip number 3 for you aspiring photographers. Now, this is important, okay? This gets a lot of people in trouble. Picking the right equipment. Oh my goodness. Again, as a portrait photographer, you want to get a camera or something that's good with resolution, all right? You want to get something that has really good focus, but again, it's also about the lenses, all right? You want to get those Bocalicious lenses and a lot of these different things. You have to get the lenses that you need for portraits. Landscape photographers, you need to get lenses that are relative to landscape. Wedding photographers, you need to get lenses that are relative to weddings, okay? Weddings move fast, all right? You don't have time to, change out a bunch of primes all day. There's a lot to all these different areas and aspects of photography. All right, so picking the right equipment is very, very important. You have to be able to choose the right gear, and then once you get it, and then once you start learning it, learn your gear, learn your equipment. Don't just get out here and be trying to shoot and go mess up somebody's wedding, and then you're gonna be in court, because you tried to jump out here and do something that you don't really know how or don't have the skill set yet to do, or you haven't developed the necessary skills and traits in order to do something like that. All right, that could go with anything that we're doing. So get the right equipment, learn your equipment, learn your exposure triangle, learn just everything about the camera, every dial, every button, where everything is. I mean, it should be an extension of you. Every camera that I have, that's again why I have all my cameras are the same. This camera should be an extension of you. I can pick it up. I know where everything is. I know what every custom button does. I know pretty much everything and where it is in the menu system, so I can get to it quick, just because I've studied it for so long. And it really, really helps your workflow. It helps things. It helps you when you're on the go. It helps you in photo shoots and things like that. Just in case the ambient changes and things change, you will know how to get to those things quick, fast. But a lot of times people get out here and they don't know where their stuff is, how their equipment is set up, and then it takes you a lot longer, and then people don't want to shoot with you again. So get the right equipment, learn your equipment, okay? All right, coming in number 4, our next tip is one that is near and dear to my heart. If you are an aspiring photographer, you must learn lighting, okay? Lighting is the epitome and everything that encompasses photography. Everything is revolved around lighting. It doesn't matter if it's off-camera flash or artificial lighting. It don't matter if it's LEDs. It don't matter if it's a flashlight. It don't matter if it's natural light or using the sun or using the moon, or I don't care, or using a street light. It don't matter. Everything in photography is revolved around lighting, okay? You must learn lighting, whether it be hard lighting, soft lighting, and just basically just how to light your subject, period. And this can be used for weddings. It can be used for, landscape. It can be used for a lot of different things, because you still also want to make sure that things are lit properly and your camera is correctly set up so you can take that image, all right? Lighting is so important, man. I spend a good amount of time learning flash and learning lighting and how lighting behaves and how it scopes my models and how to have it set up. And that's the same that you need to do if you're an up and coming photographer. You must learn lighting. Even if you're a natural light shooter, you still need to learn how to get the best out of the most available light that you have. Scrims, reflectors, a lot of different things to light your subject. It's a lot that goes into this, man. So probably the biggest thing on this list is learning lighting. All right, and the last one that I put in here, man, it's kind of interesting, but I really think that if I would have developed this at an early time in my career, I will be even further along. But to each his own, I learned it later, so it's great. But it's more so for portraits, but learning to work with models and people. All right, learning modeling, learning expressions, learning composition, learning posing. If you are an aspiring photographer, you really need to start looking at models and how modeling works and what it means to be a model, what it means to have that, to invoke those characteristics, to invoke that expression. It's so important, and especially posing. This is not something that you want to learn later on. Now, you never stop learning. Now, let's get this right. You never stop learning modeling and posing and expressions, but it should be always something that you are constantly learning about. It's constantly in the back of your mind, because that's something that's going to get your images looking the way they look. There's two things that make up a great image, and I have said this almost in all my videos: lighting and the pose, or lighting and the expression. Two things. If you got good light and your model got a good pose or good expression, you're probably going to have a really, really good image. But you can't really have one of those without the other, okay? It just doesn't work like that. So I really feast and I really pride myself on learning posing every day, every other day. I'm looking at something that has to do with modeling and posing and expression. All right, this will help you tremendously when you really understand the intricacies and everything when it encompasses into modeling, how they're posing, hands, feet, head, toes, all those things, because those are the type of things that are going to get you amazing looking results. Okay, so for all you aspiring photographers out there, really take a look at this list, man. There's something on here that you can help really start honing your skills. All right, take these little things, add a little bit to all of these things daily. Make sure you got the right equipment. Take some time to learn some more about lighting and softboxes and all of those different things. Even if you're in these other roles or other genres, always take the time to learn more about your skill every day. All right, this is your boy Brandon, aka the Kevin Hart of photography, because I am a fool. And I will see you guys in the next video. I holla. Peace.